In mid-2018, Ford South Africa launched the facelift of the Figo. Changes on the outside exterior were not that great. The new Ford family trapezoidal grille, you can see, much bolder than it used to be, changes the headlights, and a sort of interesting treatment of the fog lights down at the bottom over here. Quite flashy, interesting look to them. Beyond that, they kept the body shell very, very similar in the Figo, being a four-door B-segment hatch, I'd say, but remembering that the Figo is very, very solidly placed in the budget segment. And there are a few places where you see that, but not many, I have to be honest. You come around to the rear, remembering that this is the hatch version we're driving. You do get a sedan version as well. And, well, 200-litre boot, approximately, in normal format. You can drop the seats 60-40 as is standard, and you can go up to about 850 litres of load space if you want a two-seater. But it obviously is up to you entirely. You may notice we did a bit of dirt road in the car on the test period, and let me tell you, I was actually very pleasantly surprised at how nicely it handled a bit of dirt road as well. Let's take a look what it's like on the inside. Behind the wheel of the new Figo, one of the biggest changes of the facelift was the introduction of a little 3-cylinder 1.5-litre petrol engine. Interesting change, and very interestingly not turbocharged either. Yet it still puts out 88 kilowatts, 150 newton meters of torque, which is plenty. And it certainly is a peppy little car and gives very good performance. You can handle speed bumps pretty well too. But overall, goes very nicely. You've got to keep one thing in mind though, is that when you're using a little 3-cylinder engine, you've got to keep your revs up. You've got to rev it a little bit to get some performance out of it. And that can affect your fuel economy. I've averaged about 8.5 litres per 100 kilometers on this test of just over 300 kilometers the period. And well, it's not bad, but it's not perfect, and certainly you can maybe do a bit better if you really are careful about it. But you've got very neat instrumentation in front of the driver over here, which is nice and neat, and it shows the mileage we've done on the test. It is a trip computer you can scroll through very easily and very quickly. And you've got, being trend spec, and this is the middle spec version in the range, which means it does have Ford Sync 2, but it's got a very basic infotainment system. Having said it's basic, I must say that the Bluetooth for your phone works extremely, extremely well. I was quite impressed by it. And talking about phones, there's a feature over here that is really something I think pretty special. And that is, you can see a docking station for your phone, which does have a USB port round the back, which you can't see right now, but it links your phone very, very nicely, very easily, and works very, very simply and very well. I think it's just a little touch that the only other car I've come across that had it was the Fiat Panda. That's the only other one I found so far. You come down the dash over here, again, effective air conditioning, which is nice and useful and works very well, and down to your 6-speed automatic gearbox. And I can tell you, gone are the days when a small engine automatic didn't work. It works very, very well in my book, and very effectively, and is very nice and practical. Beyond that, you're down to, of course, the handbrake, center console as such with cup holders, but nothing fancy over there, and through to the back seats. You can see decent space in the back, more than adequate again for young family, young person, young driver. Very nice, very neat. I have to keep repeating myself on that point. Overall, at 207,900 Rand for the automatic version, it's definitely in today's world, and it sounds terrible, doesn't it, to tell you that that's budget end of the market, but it actually is, and it sits very solidly over there. You do get a lower spec Ambiente version, and Ford have recently even introduced a top spec titanium version as well. Obviously, titanium just would give you a touch screen, and for example, standard on this version, ABS brakes and 2 airbags. You do go up to 6 airbags on the titanium version, but manual only. So it is a choice only you can make. Interestingly, Ford have decided that although there is a hatch or sedan option in the new Figo, you can only get an automatic gearbox on the hatch version. Not quite sure why, but of course they can't have that many derivatives in the range. But budget hatches, the budget end of the market, interesting market, growing by the day, growing by the week. Sales obviously are growing as the economy develops and as it works on our current economy, and it's an important factor that to take into account and to think about, and to just recognize the fact that obviously that end of the market is becoming bigger and bigger. There are not that many options with automatic gearboxes at the budget end as well, so if you are looking for an automatic, you've got to take that into account too. Overall, the market and the sector is becoming more and more crowded, but this is one I think you need to take a look at. Don't forget, Ford also do have a segment-leading 4-year, 60,000 kilometer service plan as standard on the Figo. So that's also a very important factor to think about when you're making your buying decision. Overall, looking for a budget hatch? You want an automatic gearbox? Check this one out. I think it's worth it. For Motor Millers, I'm Eleanor, and I'll see you next time.